Alright, so this next video is for the common names for aldehydes. In order to do the common names for our aldehydes, you have to know a few new prefixes, right? Some of these sound kind of similar to the ones that we used before, so they're not that hard to remember, especially when you're just trying to recognize them. But the four prefixes that you're going to have to use here, because you're only going to use this if there's somewhere between 1 and 4 carbons. Right? You're not going to do any more than that. If there's only 1 carbon, you're going to use this prefix. It's going to be a formaldehyde, which should be something you recognize. If there's 2 carbons, you're going to use an acid prefix. 3 carbons is propione, which again, that actually sounds like our propane, right? Like our prop prefix that we were using before, so that's not too tough. And then finally, 4 carbons is butyr. So butane was our old way of naming 4 carbons, so this really isn't too much different, but it's B-U-T-Y-R. Now I wrote that a little funny, but form, acid, propione, butyr. So if you have any of those simple aldehydes without any substituents on it, if you know there are 4 carbons, you can call it a butyr aldehyde, right? Or maybe it's a propione aldehyde, maybe it's an acid aldehyde, maybe it's a formaldehyde. Remember, that was one of the first aldehydes we looked at, was one with just 1 carbon, and you actually have 2 hydrogens off of there. It's just the 1 carbon, so it's still an aldehyde because it's on the end of a chain, even though that chain is only existing of 1 carbon. But that was formaldehyde. Excuse me. Again, that's commonly used as a preservative, so you actually know that already, I'm assuming. Right? The other name for that was methanal. So you have common names and you have IUPAC names. If you use the AL ending, it's an IUPAC name. If you're going to use one of those prefixes like form, it's going to be just a common name. But we're not going to use these if there are any substituents, because otherwise we're going to have to use IUPAC rules anyway. So as soon as I put a methyl group on this butyraldehyde, I can't use that name anymore. Now I have to call it a butanal, because that's the only way that I can name the methyl off of it. So it's a 3-methyl butanal now. So nothing too crazy new. These are only for the simple ones. You got formaldehyde, acid aldehyde, propione aldehyde, and butyraldehyde.